The chief resident didn't look at me, but just pointed down the corridor in the general direction of the patient bays. She was writing an entry in a chart as her pager went off and the phone by her elbow started ringing. She had the stiff-backed posture of a soldier, and her unlined face was calm and collected as she picked up the phone with one hand while looking at the number on her pager. I saw her smile in that cold and distant way that professionals do as she took another call and started the process of admitting another patient.
"Mommy, can I stay here and play with the big computer?"
My 5-year-old daughter, Kelly, cannot yet see the world through my eyes, and generally I'm good with that. But occasionally, as a single parent, I need to bring her to work, to my world, where the darkness and suffering happens. However, hanging onto my arm, iPad in hand, all she could see was a big TV with a flashing screensaver of some Marvel movie character floating in the sky, lightning bolts raining down on some helpless adversary. The resident, a doctor called Meiko I'd met a few times in the ER, glanced at me and put her pen down. She gave a wink to Kelly and patted the chair next to her. Kelly looked up at me, and I nodded assent, so with a little squeal, she jumped up into the chair and pulled it closer to the desk. Meiko smoothed Kelly's curly blonde hair out of her eyes and gave her the mouse to play with as she continued to take her telephone call. I smiled a thanks and picked up the thin manila file she'd pushed towards me and flicked it open to the ER page that detailed the admission notes and the reason for my visit as the oncology fellow. The entry was brief but informative. The patient was male, mid-70s, brought in by ambulance paramedics after a 911 call from a local grocery store. Apparently he'd been found unconscious behind one of the fruit and vegetable aisles. There were a couple of blood results attached, but nothing diagnostic or particularly informative. I noted that a brain scan had been ordered, and Meiko had written, "Likely intracerebral event, CVA or tumor, refer to internal medicine and oncology." "When's he having the CT scan?" I said to Meiko, who was still on the phone. She held up a finger in the universal gesture of, "Hang on a sec," and swapped the phone to her other ear, then continued her conversation, ignoring me. I got the hint. I kissed Kelly on the forehead, barely getting an acknowledgement, and headed toward bay number 3. I walked past nurses and porters running between patients carrying charts, x-rays, sample bottles, syringes, drugs, and everything needed to keep the chaos from becoming madness. There was the constant rush of footfalls, squeaking trolley wheels, telephones ringing, monitors beeping and pinging, and I found myself longing for my office, where I'd been ensconced for the past couple of hours in companionable silence with Kelly, reviewing my own charts for tomorrow's morning rounds.